are live. What is up? NBA rundown time. My guys, Tyler and Daddy Zargs, JC Zargo in here with us today. Shorter slate tonight, Tyler, but we're still going to find the winners. We're also going to be doing some NBA playback tonight, Tyler, you and I, with the great Travis Mangone. So that's going to be fun. It'll be our playback debut. Of course, next week's, we didn't look at next Monday, right? But when we chose Monday, we'd expect a little heavier schedule. Why did the NBA go so light yesterday? Today,
I think it's because I think it was because they hit us with four straight heavy slates of 7 games total. Yeah. From Thursday till Sunday, it was I think it went 7, 8, 7, and 9. So they had to take a break somewhere, and that was today.
Yeah, hockey's the same way with the weekends being freed up with no football. They're running heavier slates on the weekend, so that kind of affects the weekday slates.
And before we go into anything spread, I seen a stat. Teams were 0-138 when they were down by 27 points until yesterday. And your favorite team decided they were going to wake up and play some basketball and come back. And they are 2 losses out of the 6th seed now?
Bro, I'm so pissed at Danny Ainge for just giving them Jared Vanderbilt. He makes a difference on that whole team.
Him and I know
We the people's in hell as his defense completely changed the thing of that game. I mean, oh my gosh.
I think a prop we have to keep an eye on is his rebounds too, because if they keep setting it was at 6.5 yesterday. They're going to keep it low like that. He's going to just feast on these boards at 8. He doesn't get down there and get. So I think he had 14 yesterday. He could easily rack them up in matchups like that.
Bro, I mean, I don't know if glaucoma's going to be on there tonight. You can't win in the NBA with Christian Wood. No. Not in crunch time. I mean, he just gives up the lane too easily.
And another thing, Spread, when you looked at the NBA playbook yesterday in the notes section, in the Portland-Houston game, the last sentence said, Houston's gotten killed by guards all year. Dame is in a lineup missing all the starters. This could be a smash spot for him. And the guy went out and put up 71.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
So we got some time. Let's talk about yesterday's games a little bit. Of course, Dame scored 71. Lakers had the biggest comeback. JC, what were your thoughts on what you saw yesterday? I'll tell you what, I'm saying we the people's in hell with Jared Vanderbilt's defense. I was too, because this Lakers squad looks pretty good now.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely playing great ball. I saw the same things Lakers, 2-3 games out of the 6th seed or whatever, acting as if the bottom half of the Western Conference hasn't been that tight for months now. So, don't deny it. They're still a 12 seed. There's still a ton of teams they got to jump. I don't love them. I'm not putting a future on them, but I'm certainly never going to count out a LeBron-led team in the last month of the regular season.
Yeah, it's a bad time to be a hater. I'll tell you that, right? Haters in hell. Tyler, we had a fun one yesterday, right? So we did the NBA playbook bright and early yesterday morning, and we talked about, hey, throw the projections out the window on that very first game between the Bucks and the Suns, right? And I like the Bucks when we were talking, and you like the Suns, right? But you made some convincing arguments, and we went with the Suns. And I'm sitting there the whole game. I'm like, I knew we should have bet Milwaukee. I knew we should have bet Milwaukee.
And then in the end, it's just neither of us wins. Yep. Nobody wins.
Were you surprised, though? Milwaukee's now won 14 straight.
Yeah, I mean, they look great. I think something we got to keep an eye on. I know Jaren Jackson's just kind of been like a tank when it comes to this Defensive Player of the Year award, but Lopez is still plus 300. He had another 4 blocks yesterday. If this team just keeps rolling, they're going to want to give somebody on this team an award. He could easily slide into that spot, I think. And you're still getting plus money on him.
And if the Grizzlies keep tanking, that's going to hurt Jaren Jackson's stock for winning that award.
I mean, it's funny how we call them tanking. They're still in second place in the Western Conference. So we had that one. I don't know what happened. The Bulls blew out the Wizards.
Yeah, the Bulls blew out the Wizards. The Nets offense found something yesterday. I think they had 3 guys that put up 20.
Yeah, we had the under there. That sucked.
Yeah, that was a bad one, but it was almost like our day was a roller coaster when you looked at it. When I did the record this morning, as you went down through the list, I think we got the 0-4-1 before we finally started racking up our wins before we got.
Did we have that many losses to start?
Yeah, we were 3-4-1 overall yesterday, but we didn't pick up all of our wins until the night slate.
I apologize for that Mavericks pick. At least we got over there on the Portland Trailblazers game. bro, I like to hate on the Lakers. You like to hate on the Nuggets.
Numbers are thrown out the window on Lakers games for now until we have a built-in system with the new team.
I mean,
numbers are just gonna spit out the
smart
data.
pick in the first half.
Of course it was, but I mean, they started playing defense and we seen what happened.
What did you think of Kyrie, man? I felt he disappeared like Brunson. You know how I would say Brunson would just go stand in the corner with the game on the line?
I think you're always going to see that with guys that play next to Luka.
Oh, you're allowed to move without the ball.
You are, but a lot of these guys can't play off ball.
He's still at 21.
In this matchup, though, you think
I'm just saying, did he do anything except he had one little drive there at the end of the game where LeBron tried to get the thing overturned. He made a nice little a block, but it got called a foul.
Maybe he was trying to help maybe he was trying to help his guy LeBron out, get him closer to the playoffs. The Mavs are already in the playoff picture. Wanted to be in LA in the first place.
Aren't they pretty close to each other in the standings? Even though
2.5 games, but there's 5 teams in between them.
Yeah.
Couple
wins either way, you kind of move up and down those standings. So,
yeah. Let's talk about Did you guys stay up and watch the last game? I'm late. I'm running late today because freaking that game went to overtime and I couldn't turn it off.
Another overtime loss. Every time this team looks like maybe they got something going on and then they just, crash and burn. And I don't know.
I didn't feel like the Clippers were going to win at any point in that game. It was weird.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't really argue with that. I mean, they did. But, I mean, the score was close, so you felt like, well, there's obviously a chance. Went to overtime. Obviously, there's a chance, but they just couldn't get over the hump.
We talk about players being bad GMs, right? I think that we've given Kawhi a pass for giving all that up for Paul George. And Paul George is a good basketball player. But is he really that dude that you give out all that for?
If Kawhi was the Kawhi he was in Toronto, it would be fantastic. Because you wouldn't he's like a subpar 1, but an incredible number 2. And so when this team is counting on him to be a 1, he's not there. We see it every year in the playoffs when Kawhi gets injured, he's got to be the guy. He's just not that. He's an incredible basketball player, but if you're relying on him to be the guy to take the last shot, it's never going to work out.
Michael Porter Jr.
That problem this year. That team's so deep, Kawhi ain't getting hurt this year unless some freak accident happens. He's not going to have to put up the minutes with that roster on that team this year.
All right.
Michael Porter Jr. got some run at the end of the game, and it paid off for the Nuggets. 2 big three-pointers. He was wide open on those. I mean, a lot of defensive breakdowns. I don't know why Marcus Morris still gets time on that team. He's not looking to be the same player at all. Interesting things going on there with the last.
How about Russ just getting benched the entire fourth quarter?
Well,
I mean, I know it's Russ, and we talk bad about him, but played very well the first game. He didn't look terrible in this game, and then you just benched him the whole fourth. So is this just going to be like a weird rotation thing, or do you think it was just the flow of that game?
Yeah, I think it was the flow of that game because they're able to create offensively without him on the floor. Like I said, Morris was more perplexing to me. I mean, you got to go with the guys that have chemistry with each other. I understand, hey, we're going to start Russ because number 1, it helps his ego. Number 2, we're trying to really get this team gelled for the playoffs. But, they needed the win. They need to go with the guys that know how to play together. But I still felt like the defense looked completely lost. I mean, they kept just leaving guys wide open.
I knew, Morris didn't see much action. I didn't realize how bad his stat line was, though. 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists in 32 minutes played.
And it's one of those things where box scores don't tell the whole story because, this happens with Draymond Green. It happened with Russ in LA where his man just leaves him. Because they're like, fine. If the Morris 3 is the shot that we give up with these players on the floor, right? Not Terrence Mann, not Kawhi Leonard, not Paul George. We're perfectly happy with that being the case. Jokic looked good once again. Tyler, I mean, he's just so
Centers
good
versus the Clippers for now spread. So they're going to smash with Zubac out, and Plumlee is the only big guy. I don't know how.
I thought Plumlee played pretty well.
He played pretty well, but just rebounding-wise, these centers are just going to smash the Clippers until Zubac gets back.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything more from yesterday before we move on? I mean, I'm trying to think. Oh, the Warriors. That
Nah.
was a crazy comeback. Clay looked good.
Yeah, Clay looked good. He hits his hot streaks here and there, and then he just drops like 10 threes. So
I did not like that uniform matchup with Minnesota's wearing white uniforms that had blue details that looked like the Warriors, and then the Warriors are wearing like uniforms I'm not sure I've ever seen before. Color-wise, those two teams, a little hard to follow.
I actually didn't have that game on very much. I thought Minnesota was going to blow them out. So Minnesota now, interesting spot here. If you take out January, they've been terrible. They had that nice little run in January, and now they've regressed again.
I don't know. I don't like. This might be like a kind of a hot take here, but like outside of Ant, I don't like any of their players. I don't think any of them are like very good.
I mean, okay.
I think
as far as what you're saying, Naz Reid's
good.
a fine role player. Jaden McDaniels is good, especially on the defensive end. But I understand your point.
But like, all I'm hearing is role players. Like, there's no guy next to Ant now. Like,
well, it's supposed to be Cat, right? I mean, that's
I guess so. But
that's the other guy that you're giving the huge contract to. And I mean, I hate to say it, but boy, that Rudy Gobert take by me is just aging terribly. He just absolutely sucks. I mean, I know he didn't play yesterday, but still. All right. Anything more?
Not too, man. He's like, I don't know what point you just bench Gobert for him because he went off.
I don't. It's one of those things, right? This happens in the NBA, and it happens, I guess, probably in the NBA more than any other sport. You follow baseball more than me, but it just feels like with that salary, like they have to play him and giving up so much.
They could buy him out. Just say, screw it.
How does that work? I mean, wouldn't they have a salary cap hit for like 4 years? I mean, they'd be better. I don't know if they have draft picks. Wouldn't they be better trying to get someone to absorb it?
Who's taking it?
A tank-tastic team.
He's gonna come around to some extent. It's not like he's, just taking up space out there. Like, he's still a solid player. We're just ragging on him because he's not playing to the level to which they're paying him.
Let's dive into tonight, but we can kind of still talk about the weekend because the first game is the Philadelphia 76ers hosting the Miami Heat. And, of course, the Philadelphia 76ers had that exciting game against the Boston Celtics on Saturday. They fell 110-107. I always say dash because that's how I say it when I'm writing. 110-107. Embiid throws it at the end of the game. Thought that would have been crazy.
He goes right in. Yeah, he throws like a shot put, and it just drops right in the bottom of the hoop.
Yeah, but it was a little late. Tatum had a poor game until it mattered. And that's how stars do, right? You have bad three quarters, but then you're there when it mattered. Boston gets the win against Philadelphia. Embiid has a monster night for daily fantasy, but it's not enough for this team. Now this team has to turn around. I mean, it's a bad spot for the Heat to play the 76ers coming off that loss. Wouldn't you agree, Tyler? Yeah. We'll start with you.
In Philadelphia, too, this is a bad spot to be in for Miami, I think.
And Miami's not playing well. They've lost 4 in a row. They lost 108-103 to the Charlotte Hornets on Saturday. 4 games in a row lost. They're currently in 7th place in the East. I mean, I did not think this was a playing team this year. What's going on in Miami, and how do you see this game going tonight, Tyler?
Yeah, I see that Lowry's already out. And
I mean, Lowry's going to be out for a while, right? He hasn't played the whole month,
questionable, but went through shoot around, so I think he does play tonight.
Okay.
But that gives them a little bit of offensive help. Doesn't really help their defense. I think James Harden's in a spot where he could absolutely smash right here. Like, who are you going to put on him? Are you going to go all the way down to Jimmy Butler and have him guard him? Or are you just going to leave these guys like Vincent, Strauss, and Hero if he plays to guard Harden? So I think Harden's in a spot where he could smash. Love his props. Love the double-double and win at plus 115. And Embiid versus Bam, you got to take Embiid in this one. I think he could just absolutely bully him. His double-double and win is plus 105. His 40-plus points and win is plus 400. You know he's going to go out there frustrated. He could feast in this spot. If he gets Bam in foul trouble too, there is no backup big man. So I'm all over Embiid here. I'm all over Harden here. And give me Philly. I think they smash.
Yeah, I think it's a tough spot for Miami. But, boy, they just continue to spiral down the standings. I wish we wish we still had JSU on Thursday so I can needle him about his Jimmy Butler fandom because although, to be honest, I like Butler's over on his point props tonight. He's gone over 3 of his last 4 games. And, if Travis was here, right, revenge spot for Jimmy Butler going against 76ers. Talk to me about tonight's game, JC.
Yeah, how top-heavy is the Eastern Conference, though? The Bucks have won 14 games in a row, and they barely gain any ground on Boston or the 76ers. This is just ridiculous. 76ers playing very well. Like you said, Heat are playing poorly, which you said, but 76ers, they'd won 5 games in a row prior to that loss to Boston. They're playing great ball. I don't see that really changing tonight. I kind of agree. It's a pretty chalky slate looking at it. Even at the spread, I like really all the favorites. Maybe consider an alt spread, depending on how bad of a beatdown you think it's going to be. But no doubt at home, Philly's winning this game.
All right, so you like Philly, but do you think they can cover the 6 points, JC?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you like Philly to cover. A lower total tonight here, huh? What's our total here? Only 217.5. But Tyler, we tried to play that low total yesterday in the Cavaliers, and it didn't even come close to getting there. Talk to me about the total here, Tyler.
Yeah, if Hero's in, I kind of like the over. I just think he gives that extra little boost to Miami's offense. He gets some threes here. But if he's out, Philly's just going to slow this game down anyways. If Miami can't hit shots, then they're going to hold them into the low 90s, maybe even the 80s here. So Hero's in, give me the over. If he's out, I'm staying away.
JC, did you have any other props on this game that we didn't talk about already?
No, I was looking at some 3-point props. I don't hate Jimmy Butler over half a 3 is paying out plus 140. Could be a decent play. As far as the total, though, I lean under. Philly's capable of putting up 120 by themselves. However, both teams kind of play at a slower pace. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get there.
Since we got a little extra time, right, we can talk about these teams a little more. What's your outlook on Miami for the rest of the season, JC?
I don't think it matters. Like I said, the East is so top heavy. Do they improve a little bit? Maybe. We've kind of been waiting on it all season. So will it happen? Probably not. Probably get past the play-in, but then they're just going to get wrecked by a Boston or a Milwaukee. So, even if they do climb up the standings a little bit, I don't see them making it out of the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Tough scene in Miami, right? After they've been doing really well here. It looked like they were making a push for the playoffs. You'd have to say this is a disappointing year for Pat Riley and the Heat, wouldn't you? This isn't the results I expected with this team, right?
Oh, without a doubt. After the year they had last season, and then they come in and just flop like this, practically the same roster, just can't put it together, can't win games.
I think this matchup here is the one they would want in round 1 if they were to pick. You don't want to be the 7, you don't want to be the 8. If you can sneak up into that 6 and play Philly, I think that's their only maybe winnable series here.
Right, because in the regular season, these top 3s are incredibly dominant, but I still don't trust the 76ers in the playoffs. It's kind of like Denver. They're going to be the darlings going in, but until you prove it, time and time again, you've proven you can't handle the playoffs. So why on earth would that change this year?
And Miami's a team too. Now we're not looking at them as a real threat, but in a couple weeks as we close in on the playoffs, if their 3-point shooting gets hot, it could be one of those teams where it's whoever plays this team's really going to hate their life in round 1.
Mm-hmm. Because also too, though, if you look at it, Brooklyn's going to tank. That moves them up 1 automatically. If they can catch the Knicks, then you got a spot where you can maybe play Cleveland. That'd be an interesting series.
All right. So we'll see how that goes. Tough times for the Heat, right, who have to be disappointed with the way that the season turns out. But, right, we all like the 76ers. Let's just say they get the win tonight, right? Maybe that's something that could be a catalyst to turn their season around. I don't see it, but, of course, they have to be thinking that way. The next game on the docket, oh, my gosh. Can you believe we're going to be watching this on playback, Tyler? The Detroit Pistons are +7. They're in Charlotte. They're taking on the Hornets. The Hornets, who are what? They've won 18 games this year?
19.
They're laying 19. All right. They're laying 7 points. against another NBA team. They're not playing a G League team, or are they? The total is 235. Tyler, talk to me about what you expect when the Hornets and the Pistons square off.
Oh, they are playing a G League team tonight, Spread. I mean, the Pistons are missing Jaden Ivey, Noel's out, Duran's out, Bogdanovich is out, so they're going to be sending out Diallo, Wiseman, and these other scrubs out there to try and win this game. So,
James Wiseman slandered this early in the morning, Tyler.
Yep. So I do like Charlotte, even though they're laying 7. PJ Washington's doubtful, but I don't think that means much in this matchup. LaMelo Ball is just going to absolutely smash here. We've seen this spot before where he's just out there running around. This is basically just going to be a scrimmage game. He's going to post a crazy stat line. His points, rebounds, and assists is 43.5. I like the over there. I like his over on threes too at 3.5. And I also just like the performance doubles on him here. His double-double and win, his triple-double and win, and his 5+ threes and win because he chucks a ton of threes.
Yeah, and he's been playing pretty well. He had a lot of nice shots there to help get that win over Miami that we talked about earlier, where the Hornets were able to prevail 108-103. JC, do you think the Charlotte Hornets keep the winning streak going? Is this Chalk City tonight? What's going on?
Yeah, I think so. As Tyler said, just too many injuries. However, that's not my favorite play here, just because with how Charlotte's played all season, it wouldn't shock anyone if they choke this one away, whether it be straight up or at the spread. There's going to be no defense. These teams are going to be playing fast. There's going to be a lot of shots. And more importantly, there's going to be a lot of missed shots. So looking at the rebound props, I mean, just grab them. Like, grab all of them. I was looking LaMelo Ball, over 7.5 rebounds, plus 108. Terry Rozier over 4.5, plus 126. Hayward over 4.5, minus 136. I think that's a great way to get in on the action in this game. Because, like I said, as fast as they're playing, the over is enticing. But again, so many missed shots. I'm not sure if it's going to get there.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm a big proponent of superstar subtraction, but I don't know if kind of above average subtraction.
So Mark Williams grabbed 20 rebounds against the Heat last game out. And is probably
him and LaMelo have a nice little chemistry. I noticed that when I was watching the Heat game. They seem to be playing really well together. I think, Plumlee was like the old whatever dude, just kind of the YMCA role player, does everything right. Mark Williams is really athletic. I think LaMelo and him are playing really well together. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I forgot that I wanted to throw that in my little Charlotte preview, though, that they seem to have found something here with the connection between these two young players. Go ahead, Tyler.
No, definitely found a connection with that. But, 20 rebounds against the Heat team. Now he's going to be going up against Wiseman. There's no Duran. Noel's out. So it's basically just Wiseman and if Stewart plays. But Stewart's undersized. Williams could absolutely smash on the boards here. Props 9.5. And just some of these alt numbers, 12 plus 185, 14 plus 420. 16 plus 850. So if you want to go crazy on this guy tonight, he did grab 20 rebounds his last game out. This could be another spot where he smashes on the boards. And there's going to be a ton of misses with these scrubs out here.
I'm surprised where these lines are. We were talking about over the weekend, and it seemed like the lines were tightening up where my projections were getting closer. I'm surprised that they're not. Why are the underdogs not getting more points here? I mean, it feels like in every – I know we talked about Charlotte shouldn't be laying 7, right? But it feels like in every game, these lines are too short. Wait, who's us? Who's your team?
It's got to be talking about Detroit.
Yeah.
I think it's bright either way.
I think that's the more I look at it, I think that's the spot I want him in too. Him with Cade, I think that would be a very good fit. The Houston situation is just too crazy right now. You don't want a guy like that down there.
Houston needs a new coach, and it sucks.
Houston needs a new everything spread. They need a new head coach, GM, just all the way from the top to the bottom.
And I was watching my guy Şengün last night, Tyler, and I love him on the offensive end.
Your guy can't play a lick of defense.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, how many layups did they just cruise right into the lane? One thing I did like, though, he goes down, right? One possession, he airballs, right? He gets in the post, and he calls for the ball right away. And I'm thinking, are they just going to give it to him right away?
Our guy Matty Ice is a Hornets fan.
Oh.
That's on my lower list of spots we want Wemby.
Wow.
I
I didn't know they existed.
Charlotte or San Antonio. I think that's
Listen, if Charlotte were to land 1 or 2 in this draft, well, if they land at 1, they kind of have to default to one of the 2 guys. If they land 2, I bet you they don't take Henderson.
No,
why would they not?
Because he's a high flying elite guard. There's no way Jordan wants somebody like that on his team.
Why? He took LaMelo.
And LaMelo's not the same kind of guy Scoot is.
There's no way they pass on Scoot. He can't be that bad.
You might look at Brandon Miller and love him. You might look at the 2 Thompson twins out of the G League and love them.
If Michael Jordan was drafting, Michael Jordan wasn't Michael Jordan, but just the GM was drafting the 85 draft class, he too would have picked Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. Like, he's the king of screwing up these picks.
Wow. There we go. That's a hot take.
Oh, yeah. So, Spread, I seen you and my guy Mikey debating on Twitter last night. What was that about?
Yeah.
We could talk about that. Get our guy JC's take on this one.
Oh, love it.
Okay, yeah. Who's better, prime Melo or current Jason Tatum? Because this is the best Tatum's ever played.
Wow.
I think it's Melo because I think there's an
argument.
argument.
I knew you were going to.
I just think there's an argument prime Melo was the second best player in the NBA at a point.
Man.
There's not an argument that Tatum's the second best player in the NBA right now?
No. Yeah, for sure. I think there's number one, makes it a little bit harder to gauge because Tatum's playing with such better talent right now. I think Tatum, I don't think as highly rated as he is, I still don't think he quite gets the love he deserves. I don't think there's a wrong take on that one. I'd probably lean Melo. But if Tatum wins a championship, then what?
I don't know if that matters, but I agree with Robert here. I mean, Melo's defense was always so bad.
I mean, yeah, but he was also on terrible defensive teams.
Because he still
Tatum's on the defensive team in the NBA. If Melo was on Boston, I'm pretty sure they hide his defensive inefficiencies. So,
who's better right now, Tatum or Embiid?
Embiid.
I like Tatum better. What do you think, JC?
Embiid.
Really?
I think there's 3 to 4 guys that you can put above Tatum right now. I think.
Okay, who?
Jokic.
Yes, I knew it.
I think Giannis.
Yes, of course.
I think Embiid, and then I think Tatum's there.
See, I would agree with you. I mean, even if we're going with that defense deal, right? Then we can argue Tatum over Jokic as well. Giannis to me is still number one, and I like Tatum more than Embiid personally. I don't like the way the Embiid is at the end of games.
The most Melo ever averaged in a season was 28, rounded to 29, and he only averaged 7 rebounds and 2.5 assists. So that was his best year.
Yeah, but the average score was probably like 15 points lower back then.
Yeah, bro, he's like 11th on the all-time scoring list.
That's true, but still, I mean, 6.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists. Like he
was a good rebounder though. I was about to say Tatum's better at everything except for scoring, but I think you could also argue that Melo was a better rebounder. He was
averaging 9 assists a game.
My other take about this is when Melo's shot was off, he still would find a way to get a bucket because he could drive to the hoop a little better than Tatum, and he gets to the free throw line better. When Tatum's off, he is a ghost on the floor. He'll stand there and miss step back threes the entire game until they finally go in. For instance, the game against Philly this weekend, he was a ghost until the fourth quarter. Found a shot and won the game in the end, so can't really knock him for that. But there's going to be spots where he needs to start getting to the hoop more, and he won't do that. He will settle for jumpers.
Bro, there's so much talent in the NBA. Look at the guys that we left off. LeBron, KD, Steph, and Luka.
Yeah.
It's a golden era.
All right, let's go through each one then. Tatum or LeBron right now? Who would you rather have?
Tatum.
What about you, Tyler?
Yeah, probably Tatum. It's just like you guys keep talking, it's defense, but I still argue that if LeBron decided he wanted to play defense, he's a better defender.
And
Yeah, but also
and that's where it's tough. Tatum or KD? We left him out. KD's better than Tatum right now.
Yeah,
in my mind. Luka or Tatum? I think this one's tough.
I'm taking Tatum. And my take on it is, Tatum is more of a team player to where you take the ball out of Luka's hands. What could he really do for you?
He gets boards.
Yeah, I guess so, but he's not like a guy that can just Tatum can roam the outside perimeter while other guys are dribbling the ball and setting up the plays. Luka just kind of goes and stands in the corner and just does nothing.
I think that's another one. There's not a wrong opinion.
Yeah, I mean, these are fun, right? This is I know you guys don't do this anymore. Back in the day, we would go to bars and argue about this stuff all night, and we didn't have the stats there, so everyone have to do stuff off the top of their head.
Tatum
I
or
even
Kawhi?
like Steph more.
That's a guy we forgot too. Kawhi, Tatum or Kawhi?
I mean, you got to go Tatum, but are we talking a healthy Kawhi? Are we talking
I'm talking just no injuries are here. You turn injuries off.
But we're talking current. We're not talking the prime.
Yeah, we're not talking Toronto. We're talking give me the Kawhi on the Clippers right now. He plays the rest of the season fully healthy.
I'm taking Kawhi.
I agree. I'm taking Kawhi too.
Wow.
Tatum's a little bit better scorer, but there is no
the defense that comes with Kawhi is just so much better. And
better career, Kawhi or Melo?
Career-wise, I'm probably going to say Kawhi. I mean, just the championships and the teams he's been on. That Toronto championship is going to put him so high on list too.
Oh yeah, it's like Giannis.
In the super team era, there was a guy who just took a team he was the only quote unquote star, and they won the finals. No one will look back and be like, oh, well, if you dig deep enough into it, there were injuries, but everyone's just going to look back and see he beat the Warriors that had KD.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you guys have KD higher than Melo on the career?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Who do you have higher, Steph or KD?
Steph. I think Steph's the best point guard ever.
That's kind of apples and oranges to an extent.
All right.
I think if you were building an all-time starting five, I think Steph he's going to be your point guard here and there. If you don't take Magic, I think there is never an all-time starting five where KD's in it.
You don't think so?
No.
Who you plugging
in? It's you plugging him in over Larry Bird or LeBron at small forward. Yeah. You plugging him in at power forward over those guys, or a Tim Duncan or a KG. It's you're not, so he's not getting in there.
Who's your center in that deal?
I'm taking Shaq because that's who I seen play, but
he's got to be Shaq or Kareem. I think those are literally.
Bro, it's got to be Wilt. Did you see when those numbers come up?
That was going to be my second one.
When it's Dame last night when he got over 60, it was people with more than 60, right? And it's 5, 7, 8, and then Wilt sitting there at 35.
It's like putting Babe Ruth in the lineup though. It's not even a fair comparison.
And you know what's crazy about Babe Ruth is some of his numbers weren't that high, but you compare some of his 40 home run seasons, the next highest was 19.
You know what's the best Wilt thing spread is I seen this video. It was talking about the all-time scoring thing, if anyone can ever catch LeBron. Mm-hmm. And as the video starts, the guy's going over just the history of the all-time scoring list. And it's guys like George Mikan come in at 10K, and then they're yeah. Then this guy showed up by the name of Wilt Chamberlain. And he took a scoring record that was 10K and jumped it all the way up to 32,000 points.
Yeah.
That record's going to be shattered, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think someone's going to shatter LeBron's record.
Have you looked at the all-time three-point record?
Yeah, Steph's putting that thing into a coffin.
Right, but it's now just littered. At a point when it was only, Allen took it over and, it was so rare someone would even enter the top 10. Now the top 10 is littered with active players. And I think that's what's going to happen over the next 10 years with the all-time scoring list.
All right. Nice little, hey, good job, Tyler. Nice little segue there. Anything more about all-time greats before we move on?
No, I just want to look through this list. We can go into the next game, but I'm just looking at the all-time scoring leaders and the active guys. just to see like if there's any path where anybody can catch LeBron like right now.
No, there isn't. Is
I
there?
mean, trying to think who's young.
That's what I mean. It would have to be a super young guy, but I mean, nobody in this top 50 seems like they even have a chance. Like Booker's at 35, but he's still a good ways off. And now going to play with KD, his points are going to drop. So it's good. But these young guys come in at like 18, 19 too. So I know LeBron came in at that age, but not many guys after him did it. It took a while for these guys to come back in at that age.
And I mean, unless they legalize HGH, I mean, who else is going to stay that healthy, right? I mean, kudos to him for not popping positive yet.
I don't think you're going to have to stay that healthy as this league progresses, though. If you're
What do you
scoring
mean?
if LeBron played 2 decades, he didn't start scoring all these points until recently, like in the last, say, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he withstood.
But no one else is playing 20 years. Like, look at Chris Paul at the same age.
But
like, he's
Fred,
a shell of himself.
I think these guys are going to play like that. With the way health is getting and all that, these guys will sit a couple games here and there, and they'll average 30, 35 points. They'll play for 15, 20 years. Somebody's going to get this record.
Okay, only twice in LeBron's career has he averaged 30 points. Everything it's been lower than that. So you come in, and these guys pretty soon are going to be averaging like 40 points a game. It's going to take less time to pass that record. And you just have these guys that are just freaking natures, and some guys just don't get hurt. One of those guys will come along and play forever and shout at those records. It'll be like, like a Tom Brady situation where it's like, how is this dude still playing? Like a Carlos Boozer kind of situation.
Like
how do you compare Tom Brady and Carlos Boozer?
They played forever. Or Udonis Haslem.
I mean, is he really playing though? I mean, that's weird. They put assistant coach on their salary cap. All right, let's continue with tonight. This has got to be the best game of the night, right, Tyler? The Boston Celtics in New York.
This one or the first one we talked about.
I mean, this is a 2-point spread. The first one's 6. So I think this one's better, right? If I could only watch one game, of course, we'll be watching them all on playback. Check out Tyler and I tonight and the great Travis Mangone. Follow the Run Pure Sports account, and you will see when that gets tweeted out so you can join us. But we'll have eyes on this one, Tyler. The Boston Celtics are -2 in New York, taking on the Knicks. Knicks have won, 5 in a row? Their most recent game, they crushed the Pelicans. You called that when we were doing the playbook on Saturday morning, right? You said, I love the Knicks here. And they got the win. Of course, we already talked about how the Celtics squeezed that win out against the Sixers. But, of course, right, much better competition, much tougher situation on the road in Philadelphia, rather at home against the Pelicans. So the Knicks are at home again tonight. They're catching 2 points. The total is 223. Start with you, Tyler.
Yeah, when I looked at the spread at first, I was like, something's got to be wrong here because this is very short. And then you go look at the injury report. Jaylen Brown's out for personal reasons. So it's going to be the Tatum show tonight. But I still think this spread might be a little short. We've seen these Boston role players. They took Milwaukee team to overtime that's on a winning streak that's leading the NBA. Mm-hmm. And their best player that night was Grant Williams. And they absolutely kept that game within striking distance. They looked like they were going to win it in overtime until Holiday took it over. Now they're going to play a Knicks team that I don't think is anywhere as good as that Milwaukee team with Tatum. Yeah, the Knicks have won recent games, but none of their opponents are as good as the Celtics. And they don't really have a body that can guard Tatum. I don't think Barrett can. I don't think Randall can. So I don't see anybody else on that roster that's going to be able to cover him. I think Tatum smashes in the Garden tonight. His 32-plus points in win is +170. His double-double in wins +205. I love both of those. His 5+ threes is +420. He's going to shoot the hell out of the threes tonight with no Brown. So love Tatum's props tonight. If you wanted to go a different route, maybe the point guards, Brogdon or White, they've been playing out of their minds too. But it's going to be mainly Tatum for me, and I think the Celtics win this game by about 5.
Tyler picked against his favorite team. What are your thoughts, JC?
Man, I hate to be on the other side of Tyler. I do think Boston wins. I think this spread is absolutely a joke. I know New York's been really hot recently. They've been playing great basketball, but I mean, it's the Boston Celtics. They are by far the best team this year. Sure, Madison Square Garden can be a tough place to play, but they should go in. They should smash them. However, I took under on Tatum's 31.5 points. All the games he's been scoring 30-plus points in have been scrub teams like Charlotte, Detroit. So with New York playing well, they're going to zero in on him. And he'll have a good game, over 25 for sure, but I don't think he crosses that 32-point threshold.
Interesting. All right, but you guys both like the Celtics here. Jonathan Nelson trying to put me in hell. I don't want that. We don't want that, man. 8 on 5. I don't want to do that. David Stern will get resurrected to make sure we lose. Tim Donaghy will come out like to Stone Cold's music and call a charge. No, Jonathan Nelson, don't do that to me. Please, please. What about Josh Hart tonight? What do you guys thought? Knicks are undefeated since acquiring the Villanova legend.
That is a good point. That is a guy that may be able to stay with Tatum on the perimeter, but I don't think he's tall enough to contest some of these jump shots. So Tatum will shoot right over him.
All right.
But
I like
more, I like that too. I don't know if Jake's maybe talking about more of a DFS take there too, because Josh Hart does just stuff the stat line.
I don't see any props for him up, so I don't know if those are to come or if there's something cooking there.
A lot of times, Tyler and I were talking yesterday, they don't put up the role players till closer to the game, right, Tyler?
If you come back in on the props at like 6:30, you'll see a bunch of guys that you don't see right around this time.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, that's why on the NBA playbook, we'll usually have the projections and the RPB tags up for the sides and totals before 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. But Tyler usually doesn't put the props up till within an hour of the game time. And, of course, if you want to get in on the winning, runpuresports.com, become a member. Use the promo code of your favorite host member on the screen. I'm Spread 15. We got Tyler 15 and Zargo 15, right? So
yes, sir.
You like, but it doesn't really matter which promo code. The important part is that you become a member, join in on the winning, get in on all the fun at runpuresports.com. As long as I'm spitting promos like it's WWE time. Go ahead, guys. Give us the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're in the chat, I know you're subscribed. But, hey, we want you guys in here. We want you talking, pointing out things like Jarrett Ramsey did, saying LeBron averaged 27 in year 2 and 31 in year 3. Didn't start scoring points so recently. We're having a good
only
Discord.
Twice. There's one of only 2 times he averaged over 30 points a game. It was that year and last year.
Yeah. All right. So, but anyways, guys, the point was, right, you got to be subscribed to be able to throw in comments like that. So we want you to subscribe. We want you to hit the thumbs up. What else you got for us, JC?
I was just saying, just shout out Robert calling out Scott Foster in Charlotte. That's Scott Foster is one of the biggest homers in the NBA. Home teams are 29-11 at the spread in games he officiates. Over-unders 25-15. So even more reason to bet Charlotte for sure.
I hate Scott Foster.
I love Scott Foster because it's so easy to bet on games he officiates in.
Yeah, nice counterpoint there, JC Sargo. Give us that thumbs up. We'll continue the last game of the night, Tyler. Orlando Magic +4 in New Orleans, taking on our Pelicans. Tyler, we loved the Pelicans at the beginning of the year, but like Bob Marley, this team is so dependent on Zion. They just haven't been good since he's been out. They were hoping to play better. What? Not a good one.
No, I love it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just kind of threw that one out there. It could have been a little more well crafted, but I went off the top of my head. Total here is 227. Do you think the Pelicans get right against one of our favorite teams as of late, Tyler? We've bet in the Magic a lot. What do we do here?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Magic again. I think they could win this game outright. CJ McCollum props, though. I do love these in this spot. Okay. Guards against the Magic of smash. He's in this spot. I love his over 2.5 threes. Love his points. His assists don't bother me either in this spot. Ingram is in a bit of a tougher matchup. Orlando's a bigger team. They have a lot of forwards. They could put some of these guys on him and just limit him. I just think they're going to have the advantage inside too. So I'm going to be on Orlando here. I think they win this game outright.
All right. What are your thoughts here, JC? When the Magic take and Jarrett Ramsey here. No. Hey, we love the discourse. We love the back and forth, and not like we don't get things wrong, right? There's plenty of times when the chat corrects me, and that's why I'm always saying retweet the show, right? Let's try and build the show. More people in here. If we make a mistake, there's more, fact checkers or ombudsmen, which is a fun word. The ombudsman is a person in the newspaper that was responsible for fact checking back in the day, and he also responded to letters. They don't have those anymore, but maybe we'll hire one at Run Pure Sports. But no,
just calls that Tony Reali.
Wait, what?
My generation just calls that Tony Reali.
Kind of look like Reali.
my gosh. Thank you so much, Brad.
I used to love that show. I remember back in 2000, I thought it was so cool. I watch it now. It's so outdated.
Yeah. But on Pardon the Interruption, they always go to him for the fact checker.
Oh, I understand your point. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of what was the other one?
Around the Horn.
The button
Around
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Right.
No, I appreciate it, Jared. It's all up. Couple things on thoughts on this game. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, I'm not shocked Tyler's riding with Orlando because they've been playing well.
No, he's riding with New Orleans.
No, I'm on Orlando.
Yeah,
Oh, you are?
Plus
+4?
Yeah.
Then what were you talking about McCollum?
I love his props. I think Orlando
okay.
wins the
I'm
game.
sorry. All right. Excuse me.
All good. But New Orleans being back home, needing a win as they continue to slip in the standings, I think they get it done at the blender. Couple props I love this game.
I haven't heard that name for the Smoothie King Center before.
Yeah, you haven't heard that one? The blender. McCollum absolutely over on points. I've been horrible on my props recently on the NBA, but McCollum points is one it's free money. It's a great play when Zion's out because he's the only guy that is going to score. Also, I don't know why DraftKings offering this, but under 6.5 for Bull, another easy play. He's hit his prop once in the past 10. This dude, terrible player. I don't know why he has a job, but regardless, he does. Easy play there.
You're slandering Bull on this show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, you're going to have half the coordinators coming at you. They love Bull.
Why?
Because he's 7'7".
And yet he can't do anything. It's like Taco Falls.
Interesting. What about Manute? Do you remember his dad?
I know of his dad. I'm not quite that old.
Oh, I do.
We don't remember him, Spread. We didn't get to see him play.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to find the picture of him standing next to Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, he's just towering over him.
Yeah. That's like the Altuve Judge picture for your generation.
My generation. Wonderful. All right. So keep going. Slander Bull. Wow. I mean, that's something I expected to hear this morning. I thought everyone loved Bull.
No. He just takes up space. He takes up too much space and doesn't do anything with it. Does he even rebound?
I should start calling me Spread. I like the idea of having two names just in a row. Bull, right? I mean, that's tight.
Only once. This man's 7'7", and only once over his last 10 games has he had over 5 rebounds. That's just absurd. Regardless, give me the Pelicans. McCollum over points, Bull under points.
All right. So Tyler likes the Magic. You like the Pelicans. Dang. All right, Tyler, we're going to have to do projections then a little later because you're going to have to bounce. But we got time to do the best bets right now. Give out your promo code, guys, when you give the best bets. That way, if we have people that are watching that aren't members, they can use that promo code, become a member at runpuresports.com from their favorite panelists today. Start with you, Tyler. Best bet for the day, side, total, or prop.
My best bet's going to be if you have FanDuel, the player performance double, James Harden to double, and they win the game at +115. If you can't get that, I love Philly minus the 6.5. I don't mind their.
It's down to 5.5 on Bookmaker.
Oh, I like it even better now. And then I don't mind their first half number either because I think they come off frustrated and they just smash his Heat team. And sign up with my promo code Tyler15.
All right, you want access to the NBA playbook, Tyler15. JC, your best bet.
Look, I'm going to get a little wild today. I hate how chalky I am, but that's just what my numbers are telling me. So I'm going to get crazy. I'm going to parlay all the favorites on the money line for a +425 payout.
No way. All favorites. Well, I guess it's only 4 games late.
I know I'm going to get burned by one, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do a round robin or something, but
I think if any one of them burn you, it's the last one.
Which makes me think that's not the one that's going to burn me. It's going to end up being like the Pistons pulling out a crazy win.
Yeah, I mean, the Hornets losing.
If anything, it's the Heat.
Yeah. I'll be surprised. We'll message JC. For some reason, it's just the NBA. I just don't think that all 4 favorites will win. Go ahead and give me Jalen Brunson over 24.5 points. He's gone over that in 7 of his last 9 games. He's averaged 29 points per game. Over his last 9 games as well, or last 12 games. I'm sorry, going off the top of my head. But Brunson, expect him to put on a show. He's happy that Josh Hart is back. That is it for us. We'll be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. We'll have the man AP with us. JC, give us some words of wisdom before we sign off.
Absolutely, man. We had a little bit of a current GOAT debate, but I'm going to close the show out with some words from the true GOAT, Michael Jordan. As he once said, the roof is the ceiling. So whatever you're doing today, go out there, be great, do awesome, and just give it your best, give it your all, because the roof is the ceiling.